Hello everyone and welcome to the final week of English 1520 for summer 22. Just to have some basic overview things and some reminders. At the outset here, just note that here under the course schedule, I've left the prior overviews remaining open here for anybody who still has things that they were catching up on argumentation. Down here under week 8, the readings, some of the readings for the final week are fairly lengthy. I don't expect everybody to read them in their entireties. Remember, these were included as sample readings to give you an idea of how you approach different cultural topics and what's admissible for this type of a focal point or topic for the assignment. Topics like Star Wars and the cultural impact. Last week we had John Wayne, Fortnite, the week prior, Pac-Man, Harry Potter, Bob Marley, and in the different overviews and assignment things, I mentioned things like the Alien movie franchise. I have somebody right now doing The Hustle as a dance craze, significant cultural impact. I have two students writing on TikTok, this cultural impact of TikTok. I have a significant one that's very engaging, that's about a specific music band, musical act from India, the cultural impact of that group. These have turned out fairly well, folks, so far, but those readings are listed there for you to just note that that's the only thing remaining in week 8. Everything else out of the textbook has been covered, including all the MRBRMartin formatting things, so there's nothing really additional that we need there. This week is the final week for the term. This evening, the argumentation, final draft with the works cited, the 10 sources, not 15, and on these requirements, once again, I dropped it down to a 4-page for the overall, for the final product here, so a 4-page total, plus your works cited. Most of you will end up, around 5.5, 6 pages on that, probably with your works cited and your heading and things. Make sure you read and review all these instructions. Everything must be third person. You must have quotes in quote format to support your claims. And you must also make sure that the works cited page is in MLA format. For all of those, I only really have a few students who fell short on those and we're still struggling with some of those component pieces. Remember that the ASC tutoring is still available up here under student services for those of you who might need them this week. And while you're finalizing today, you still have until 11:30 p.m. this evening to hit the ASC up the library up for sourcing. I don't know that anybody from the ASC today would be available to do another review on these, but this isn't a last minute thing. You've been working on those for a few weeks. The next thing here is the cultural analysis final draft with the works cited of 5 sources. Remember that this is 750 word minimum. That's about a 3-page, maybe 4-page paper, not including the heading, title, or works cited page. Remember, those are additional. We're talking about 750 words of your general to specific intro, your 2 or 3 bodies. Most of you have topics that require 3-body paragraphs. Meet all the basic requirements. That would include detailed formatting, intro, bodies, and quotes. Make sure you got quotes in your body paragraph. 1 to 2 direct quotes per body paragraph. I don't need a great deal more, particularly if you're going for 750 words. Don't be expansive with this. Do not use block quotes, folks. Just quotes that are 2 or 3 lines of the page would be the maximum on there. Don't give anything there where it's going to show up in an overview match, and more of the writing comes from external sources as opposed to yours. And please, I have 1 student right now with this assignment and 1 from the argumentation where you are definitely falling in plagiarism category, where you're not citing things that are in what you submitted. It does not appear to me to be egregious and intentional. It seems to be an oversight in some of these things, but relying too heavily on online sources when you don't have your own analysis is quite problematic. So make sure that you are getting your own analysis in there, and these 1 to 2 quotes are only used as support of your primary claims. Follow the quote format of intro, give, explain, or defend. That's explained, again, that was in the overview and outline down here. Include at least 2 images, so whatever they're going to be, with a citation below them or next to them, as I reviewed last week. You're going to have anywhere from you know, this is going to, once you have 750 words, it's going to obviously add about a page for many of you guys. So if it's a 3 to 4 page paper, now it's 4 to 5 pages, but that's almost an entire page eaten up by your use of an image, just of your cultural object, right? Or your cultural topic, excuse me. If an image is sourced from one of your required 5 articles, the article does not need to be cited twice on the works cited page. Simply include the citation with the image, and it's going to be clear that that's what that's from. If there's also a reference to a quote used from that same article, just make sure that the quoted portion's in quotes in your body paragraph, and make sure there's an in-text citation with last name and page number, right? Remember, make sure that in that chapter on designing, you review that portion on putting in an image and how to cite it. Include in-text citations for all quotes. Include MLA formatting. For the works cited page, there's at least 5 sources. All MLA formatting applies. Everything we've worked on all term, or that's been applicable all term. Third person only and no contractions. I have 2 students with this assignment right now where I'm not exactly sure what your point of confusion was, but the topics that you picked were wildly expansive. It does not appear that those students have actually went through the readings that were included in the course schedule and the reviewed the overview and the other things for this. Out of 23 or 24 students still submitting on this, I have over 20 that it's exactly what the assignment called for. Very good cultural analysis, you know, stating that a television show or a movie or a band or a video game has had cultural impact that can be demonstrated, and you can show its cultural impact by pointing out things about the fads or trends that started because of it, how expansive the topic has gotten to be, and what the fan base is like, things along those lines. I'm really enjoying the ones where I know nothing about them. Some of these anime series that 2 students are writing about, 2 different anime series, and then graphic novel series that another student's writing about, and then the bands that are from the one from the musical act from a different country, from India. Those are very interesting papers, those ones about the cultural impact of those different things. So keep up the good work. I'm looking at just the summary and outlines and enjoying them already. Just remember with the summary outlines, it was still supposed to be completed exactly the same way as prior assignments on here. Summary of 250 word minimum, general to specific intro, ending in a thesis, and 2 to 3 body paragraphs for support depending on how expansive your topic was. I have only allowed one fairly expansive topic, and that was social media, because the person focused in on a specific component of social media. Otherwise, I did not approve it. I certainly didn't approve a couple of I asked for a change on one that was, what's the other topic? Oh, same thing. That was that same one. And then another one on marriage, the overall impact of marriage, which is far too expansive for a short paper. But in this setup here, guys, we have a full breakdown of a layout here of an example with Star Wars being used as it breaks that down. Make sure you're looking that over. The direct quote portion here explains again with examples how we would do direct quoting in this. In-text citation, an overview of including the images, including the night cite source that you can use if you have to create citations out of yours because there's not an MLA citation function. And then this is a breakdown of what you would include with images. Remember, night cite is a very easy to use page. You can plug in the criteria, select the multimedia under resource type, and then just put in the information you have for it, and it'll generate an MLA 8th edition citation. Then, down here at the bottom, another overview on the works cited page itself. Just make sure that you guys have read through all of this. I opened this quite early on, so you'd have this as a reference piece to be able to review. Again, working through some of these. This class right now has been an exceptionally good one. I have over 90% of the student body in this class performing at a high B, low A already by the end of the term, and submitting work exactly as it was assigned, the types of things that were overviewed, meeting all criteria. So that's been great. For some students, there are a handful. Any given week right now, it's been between 3 and 5, where the work is just far afield from what the assignment is, or it's just incomplete. I'll talk about late submission in a second here. With those ones, I've tried to be lenient as much as I can on giving feedback, on giving credit and exceptions for those things. I have not had contact from students. I've had a couple of students where we've been in contact throughout the term, so that we've been working on the situation the student is dealing with to make exceptions and try and get you caught up, or make sure you know what you're doing as the assignments are coming through. Having said that, there have been a number of resources offered. The optional Zooms, I've had office time available all term, including the individual Zooms with a couple of you we've done. That's been really enjoyable for me to engage with some of you guys individually. And then the expansiveness of the coverage of the different overviews and these different things. For being an async online course, there's also been the ASC tutoring available every week, as I said, and I only have 2 students in the class who have utilized it. So there's not much of an excuse at the end of the term. So the point that I'm getting at here is, for my late and incomplete students, incomplete work, you know, I've given credit and feedback to a degree that I think is more than suitable and fair for the work you've produced and submitted. You know, for those of you who've done your work all term, I don't think there's been any issue. You've been carrying out, we've had dialogue back and forth and all kinds of things, and you're doing great. Those of you with incomplete work, I have given a great deal of feedback as much as I can to try and address certain things, and week to week, and there's been tutoring available, and the students who have needed most seem to be the ones who have not gone after it. And then though late work is not accepted in this class, I made an exception on a couple of things and still gave some students some credit on late submissions. That was week 1 and week 2. That, you know, in your first week overview, that's explained. In the preterm, the week 1, both of those, including the overview and the announcements. And then in your syllabus, states very clearly late work is not accepted. And in this last week and a half, last 2 weeks, I've still had pretty much the same students handing in things late, and some of these are days late. I'm not giving further credit on those things. I haven't had even so much as an email of contact from some students who are submitting work late and incomplete and just expecting to still go through the course as though you're meeting all requirements and fulfilling obligations that are expected of you as the student. That's not acceptable. And now here at the end of the term, you know, I would not expect that you would then now try and reach out and have some kind of exception granted for this. The grade is going to be what it is. For the finalization of this work, guys, the argumentation comes in tonight. I have already begun grading some of those final submissions. For the cultural analysis, summary, and outlines that were submitted, those are all finished and posted back. I did have some students where I suggested changing something about your topic there, and you could contact me. Remember the messaging, instant messaging that's up here at the top? I asked you to contact me through that if you had a different topic and wanted to adjust your submission, and I could take a look at that so we could work on this finalization so you can still get it in by Wednesday. I have only heard back from 1 of the 4 people that I had to make suggestions about those 2. 2 of you, I just had slight adjustments I needed you to make on the focal point, and then, but 2 students, you really have to change the topics. They're not acceptable. It doesn't look like you were, it certainly didn't read through the sample readings from the last couple of weeks that demonstrated those. And then the argumentation that's due this evening, guys, make sure that that's in, because I've already started grading some of those. For the cultural analysis stuff, those have to be in by Wednesday. The course does end Wednesday at 11:30 p.m. and I will be putting in final grades shortly thereafter. I will be finalizing everything I can by Thursday afternoon and submitting all final grades by Friday morning. So anything that is not there and completed by that time will not be included for the term. If you have late work, that is something that you have to consider, that you will not get credit on those things. All right? For everyone else, it's been a great term. I appreciate all the work, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer once you get these submitted in. Good luck with the writing.